She didn't fire me in private. She didn't call HR quietly. She stood up in the middle of my presentation, crossed her arms and said, "This is why some people never move beyond middle management." The room went silent. Then she smiled. "And this will be your last presentation here." I heard someone gasp. I didn't defend myself. I didn't argue. I just closed my laptop slowly. Because humiliation is loud, but strategy is silent. And 3 months later, her CEO husband would be asking me for approval. My name is Aria. I worked at Veridon Group for 5 years, Global Strategy Division. I handled expansion models for Southeast Asia and Europe. My numbers were strong. Too strong. When the board praised my last expansion project publicly, I saw it. Vanessa's jaw tightened. Vanessa was my department head. Elegant, sharp, dressed, and always reminding everyone that her husband was the CEO. She never said it directly, but she didn't need to. Power followed her into every room. At first, she liked me. I worked hard. I stayed late. I fixed problems quietly. But once the investors started mentioning my name, everything changed. Quarterly review meeting. All department heads present. CEO attending virtually. I was presenting a restructuring model, one that would increase profit margins by 18%. Halfway through slide 12, Vanessa interrupted. "Stop." Her tone was calm. Too calm. She stood up slowly. "Do you see the problem with this model?" No one spoke. She zoomed into one slide. "This projection assumes leadership-level negotiation access." I blinked. "Because we've already secured." She cut me off. "That's not your responsibility." The room felt heavy. She looked at the others. Sometimes ambition outpaces position. And then she said it. "We need people who understand their level." That was the moment I knew. This wasn't feedback. This was elimination. After the meeting, HR was already waiting. Paperwork prepared. Termination effective immediately. Reason? Structural reorganization. Of course. I signed calmly. Vanessa walked me to the elevator herself. "You're talented," she said softly. "But leadership requires loyalty." Loyalty. Interesting word. The elevator doors closed, and I realized something. She didn't fire me because I failed. She fired me because I didn't belong under her control anymore. For 2 weeks I did nothing. No angry posts, complaints, no desperate job applications. I observed. I analyzed. Because here's what Vanessa forgot. Most of Veridon's strategic external partnerships, they trusted me, not her. Especially one, Atlas Industries. Their CEO once told me privately, "You think 5 moves ahead. That's rare." So I made one call. Atlas wasn't just a client. They were Veridon's largest potential merger partner. Confidential discussions had already started months ago, and I had drafted half the preliminary integration framework. Atlas invited me to lunch, then offered something unexpected. Director of Strategic Integration, higher salary, executive authority, direct board access. I asked one question. "Are you still considering the Veridon merger?" The CEO smiled. "Yes." I accepted the offer. 3 months later, Veridan headquarters. Executive conference room. But this time, I wasn't presenting under Vanessa. I was sitting opposite her, representing Atlas. Vanessa walked in confidently, then saw me. Her posture shifted. Her husband, Daniel, the CEO, looked confused. Answered quickly. She used to report to me. Used to? Past tense. I smiled politely. Yes. I led the Asia Expansion Initiative last year. Daniel nodded slowly. He remembered approving that budget. He remembered the profit spike. And now? The person responsible was negotiating against him. The merger talks began. Vanessa tried controlling the flow, interrupting, redirecting, minimizing my authority. But Atlas had made something clear. No integration without my sign-off. I presented conditions calmly. Revised valuation, leadership restructuring clause, performance accountability transparency. Vanessa stiffened at that last one. Daniel asked carefully, "Why is transparency clause necessary?" I met his eyes. Because leadership ego can distort strategic decisions. Silence. Vanessa's fingers tightened around her pen. Later that evening, Daniel requested a private call. He didn't sound angry. He sounded curious. Were you let go? I didn't accuse Vanessa. I didn't insult her. I sent performance reports, board praise emails, revenue charts, timeline comparisons before and after my termination. The numbers spoke, and numbers don't lie. Daniel went quiet. Interesting, he said finally. Very interesting. 2 weeks later, Veridan's board initiated an internal review. Official reason? Strategic alignment analysis. Unofficial reason? Declining performance since my departure. Key partnerships unstable. Integration delays. Investor concerns. And then something unexpected happened. Atlas paused the merger. Publicly. Reason cited? Leadership instability. Stock prices reacted immediately. Pressure built. Vanessa's authority started cracking. Emergency executive meeting. Atlas agreed to resume talks. Condition. Leadership evaluation transparency. Daniel looked exhausted. Vanessa looked furious. I remained calm. During that meeting, Daniel asked Vanessa directly, "Why was Arya terminated?" Vanessa hesitated. Structural realignment. Daniel turned to me. Was it? I held eye contact. No. Silence. Then I added gently, "It was insecurity." You could hear breathing in the room. Daniel didn't defend her. He didn't argue. He simply nodded slowly. 1 week later, public announcement. Vanessa stepping down from executive leadership, transitioning to advisory capacity, corporate language, but internally, she lost authority. The merger resumed, under new governance rules, and I was appointed integration lead, meaning I now had oversight over the division she once controlled. Months later, private strategy dinner. Daniel approached me. I underestimated internal politics, he admitted. I trusted loyalty over performance. I replied calmly. Loyalty without competence is expensive. He almost smiled, then said something unexpected. You would have made an excellent executive here. I looked around the room, then back at him. I already am. She fired me to look powerful, to protect her ego, to prove control. But borrowed power fades, competence compounds, and sometimes the person you remove quietly returns with leverage you can't ignore.